You know, for as long as any of us can remember, owning a home in India has been the dream. It's seen as the ultimate sign of success, of security. But what if that dream, that cornerstone of our ambitions, is actually a financial trap? Well, today we're going to break down a pretty compelling analysis that challenges that very idea.
And look, the analysis we're diving into today, it does not pull any punches. It kicks off with this incredibly provocative question, basically forcing you to stop and reconsider a belief that, let's be honest, most of us hold dear. So let's dig into the argument it's making.
Okay, so this visual, this really gets to the heart of the whole argument. That amazing feeling of getting the keys to your new home is almost immediately replaced by this, being chained to a giant weight called the EMI. We're talking about a financial commitment that can stretch for 20, 25 years. I mean, that's a huge chunk of your adult life where every single financial decision is shaped by this one payment.
All right, so where do we even begin? Let's start with the biggest roadblock for most young people, the absolutely staggering cost. The analysis we're looking at calls this the 9-year income trap, and it really gets to the core of what it calls the affordability crisis.
And for so many young professionals out there, this picture is all too real. You've got the drive, you've got the dream of owning your own place, but then you look at your bank account, and then you look at property prices, and there's this gigantic disconnect. The math just doesn't work.
And this number right here, this is the reason why. This is India's price-to-income ratio. So what does 8.8x even mean? It means that an average house costs almost 9 times the average person's entire annual income. Just let that sink in for a second. That's 9 years of your entire salary, before you pay for taxes, or food, or transport, or literally anything else, all just to buy a house.
And if you're thinking, well, maybe that's just normal, let's put that 8.8 number into a global perspective. This analysis compares the financial weight on a home buyer in India to someone in the US, and well, the difference is pretty stark. It's like comparing a crushing burden to something much, much more manageable.
Okay, but here's where the analysis gets really interesting. We're always told that a house is the best investment you can possibly make. But what happens if you actually stop thinking of it as a home for a minute and just run the numbers on it, like any other financial asset?
And this is the big, controversial claim right here. A dead investment. I mean, wow, that's a strong statement, right? The argument is that the huge amount of money you pour into a house doesn't actually work for you. It just sits there, completely trapped. Let's see why the analysis says that. So, to figure out if it's a good investment or not, we need to understand this one key idea: rental yield. It's actually really simple. It's just the amount of rent you collect in a year divided by how much the property costs you. It's the real fundamental return an asset like this gives you.
And wow, this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? The analysis points out that the average rental yield in India is a measly 2%. Look at that. You could literally make more money, potentially double, just by sticking your cash in a basic savings account, and even more in a simple fixed deposit with none of the stress or risk of being a landlord.
And then there's problem number 2, liquidity. Or maybe more accurately, the complete lack of it. Unlike stocks or mutual funds that you can sell with a click of a button, you can't just sell a bedroom when you need some cash. Finding a buyer who's willing to pay the right price can take months, sometimes even years. Your biggest investment is basically locked up, frozen.
Okay, so let's just recap the red flags here. You've got these crushing EMIs for a quarter of a century. The asset itself gives you extremely low returns, like 2%. It's incredibly hard to sell when you need the money. And on top of all that, the analysis also notes that the market is often influenced by unaccounted money, which can make things even trickier for the average buyer.
So, okay, if buying a house is the trap, then what's the escape route? Well, the analysis doesn't just criticize the old way of thinking. It actually lays out a smart alternative, a totally different path to what it calls financial freedom.
And the plan is actually pretty straightforward. It's just 3 steps. First, rent a place you're comfortable in instead of buying. Second, take all the money you're saving, that huge down payment plus the difference between your rent and what an EMI would be, and invest it. And third, just let the incredible power of compounding do its work.
And this is the secret weapon of that alternative plan. Think of it like a compounding machine. It's that magical idea where your money starts making its own money, which then makes even more money. Instead of your capital being locked away in a house earning 2%, it could be out there in the market, working for you. Over 25 years, that compounding effect could build a nest egg that far outweighs the value of a single property.
So what this all boils down to is a choice.
The analysis isn't telling anyone what they have to do. It's just framing the decision in a completely new light. It's showing us two very different blueprints for our financial future.
And this table just makes the choice crystal clear. On one side, you have path 1, buying a house. That means a high financial burden, low flexibility because you're tied to one spot, very low liquidity, and low potential returns. Then you have path 2, renting and investing. Here you have a lower financial burden, tons of flexibility to move for a new job or opportunity, high liquidity because your money is accessible, and the potential for much higher returns.
And so we come full circle. We're back to that initial question, but now, hopefully, we're looking at it in a whole new light. The analysis leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It challenges us to look past the tradition, past the emotion, and just crunch the numbers for ourselves. Is that dream house truly an asset that's building your wealth, or could it actually be the biggest liability you'll ever take on? The choice, of course, is yours.